Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I wanted to do a pink and purple cut crease. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my videos. Anything that I use will be listed down in the description box below. If you'd like to see how I do this, then keep on watching. So I went ahead and did one eye off camera. The palette I'm going to be using is the Morphe and Abby Roberts palette. I just wanted to play with this one some more and just start playing with a bunch of the colors. Using a 213 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Love. It's spelled L-U-V. And I'm just going to use this to start mapping out where I want this pink at in the cut crease. Because like I said, I wanted a pink and purple cut crease. And because I have slightly deeper set eyes, I have to make sure that I'm going a little bit above that crease just to make sure that that cut crease isn't going to be hidden. I want to be able to see what I'm putting in the cut crease. This helps just get me a good spot to start blending out these colors. I'm just going to go about halfway, maybe a little bit further, just because it's going to blend in with the purple on the end. Using the same 213 brush, I'm going to go into the darkest purple shade in this palette. It's called Ultraviolent. So not ultraviolet, it's like violent at the end. So Ultraviolent is what it's called. And I like to go around my crease and then kind of wing it out towards the end with this. Again, this is just mapping out the shape, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect in the shape that you want, because it is just going to be blended out. And then all this outer part is just going to be purple. So as long as you have like kind of the similar shape of what you're wanting, it'll be just fine. So I had a really funny experience this morning whenever I let my chickens out. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I have chickens. Like I'm trying to get like a 5-acre like little farm going here and try to be more self-sufficient. So I have chickens for eggs, which it's winter time now, so they don't produce as much eggs as they usually do. And I haven't really done a lot of research on it yet, but I think they might eat their own eggs during the winter just for more protein and stuff. I do feed them daily, if not every other day, but I mainly feed them daily. But they like eat bugs and lots of other stuff outside, so they get more food. They get enough food, so I don't have to feed them every day. I just prefer to feed them every day just to make sure that they are getting their food. It snowed for like the first time this winter for the past couple days, and I've never seen my chickens interact with snow, and it's really funny to watch because like I fed them outside today. Like I was opening the chicken coop because I close it at night, and I was opening it up, and usually like they like bombard the door to come outside, but then like as soon as they touched the snow, they like hopped up and started flying around and like trying to get away from it. But obviously it was everywhere, so other than in their coop, because their coop is enclosed, so like every time they would like hop up and like fly away, they would land on more snow and they would do it again. So they were just like little popcorn hopping around and like trying to get back into their coop. And like right next to their coop is where like there was no snow just from where it didn't fall right there. So they were trying to stay in that little area but get to their food at the same time. Only like 4 or 5 of them wanted to brave the snow on their feet to get to the food. So I ended up having to go back in and getting another scoop of food to put it in the chicken coop, so that way the ones that didn't want to come out in the snow could have some food. And it was just really funny. So I didn't realize that chickens really don't like the snow, which I understand. Like, you know, their feet are bare. They don't like have feathers or fur or anything on their feet, so they're like bare. So I imagine it's very, very cold on their feet. But it was just a funny experience. I've never seen them interact with snow, so it was just really funny. And they definitely do not come out of the coop for anything with this snow being on the ground. So it is a good thing that I went and got 2 scoops of food, because they probably haven't eaten a lot of bugs and stuff, except for what may have like gotten into their coop. Now that I kind of have the pink and purple mapped out how I want, I'm just going to start blending everything up and out. So I'm going to be using a Bellalash brush. This is just like a flat eyeshadow brush. It works really well getting into this crease area without spreading the eyeshadow everywhere. And I'm going to be using the pink champagne shade. It's just a lighter pink, just gives it a little bit more of an ombre blending up instead of just like straight up pink all the way up. I like my blends to be like from really high pigment to like almost nothing. So something else exciting that happened this week was yesterday, me and my husband got to go and get our anatomy scan for our baby done, and it was probably the most fascinating thing that I've ever seen. Like it has to be like my favorite part so far with being pregnant, is seeing like that anatomy scan and just like like just seeing everything that goes into it. I know everybody has to go and get an anatomy scan, but we really had to make sure that we go and get an anatomy scan because I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because it is kind of personal, but we have heart defects that run through my family very, very close. So we had to make sure that we got a good anatomy scan, and they checked the heart just to make sure that our baby didn't have any defects or anything, which they didn't. So thank goodness. And if you hear me saying they, it's just because I don't know the gender. We didn't find it out. Like, we're not finding it out at all. So I'm just using they until we have a he, she. But we got to see like everything that goes into the anatomy scan. We get to like, it's so cool to me. Like, I just couldn't, I don't know, it's just one of those crazy things. She said that the heart is the size of like your pinky nail. And that's just like, I can't fathom how tiny this little thing is inside of me. And he, again, I don't know the gender. If I say she, it's because I want a girl. But she like was moving around a lot. And it's weird because I still don't feel like really much movement yet. I felt a little bit like a couple days ago, and like I think it's just like the little bitty butterfly flutters that they say you might feel. She hasn't really started kicking a lot yet. When the person was doing the ultrasound, like she was moving all over the place, and it was the cutest freaking thing that I'd ever seen. It was just like a whole other experience than just like getting a regular ultrasound. Just being able to see everything going on, and she like showed us the blood flow from like the heart to like the rest of the body, the placenta, like everything, and it was so cool. At the moment, me and my husband are probably only gonna have one kid. That may change, we don't know. We're not really putting any decision on that just yet because we know things will change after the baby gets here. If I was to get pregnant again, that would be my favorite part. It was so cool. If you've never seen like how an anatomy scan works, like you should definitely look it up because it is the most fascinating thing ever. You could, like, she looks at them, the nurse or the ultrasound tech, if I'm using the right name for them, they look at absolutely everything. They look at the brain, they look at the size of the baby, they look at the heart, the lungs, the kidneys. They make sure that they have 2 arms, 2 legs, you know, they just make sure that they have everything that they're supposed to and that everything looks like they're working the way they're supposed to at that stage of pregnancy. I'm just really interested in that kind of stuff. I'm interested in anatomy and physiology. I have a bachelor's degree in neuroscience, so having like that anatomy and physiology, like that was probably my favorite thing that I learned in college. So just being able to see that in like a little tiny bitty thing is just really cool to me. We also got to see our baby yawn in the womb, and it was so cute. She was like, she got it, like, she didn't get a picture of it or anything, but she noticed that the baby was yawning, so she went like straight back to it and she was like, look, you're gonna get to see your baby yawn. And it was so cute. So stinking cute. It was just it's just a whole different experience. You know they're in there, but like you don't, because I don't feel anything and because you don't like really see anything other than like your belly getting bigger and, you know, everything else getting bigger that goes along with it. Other than those changes, you don't really see anything happening. So like it's just really cool to be able to see that. And me and my husband were just amazed, and it was so cool. He was just as amazed as I was. And he was like, this is so cool. But I would definitely say so far that was my favorite part of being pregnant. Now that I've blended that out with that Bellalash brush, I'm going to take this is a Morphe, it's just a blending brush. And I'm just going to take this with no extra product and just go over the top of this and just make sure it's really blended out. And I'm just going like side to side motions over top of it. I'm not worried too much about what's going on with the lid because I am going to be cutting the crease and cleaning it up. So don't worry too much about that. It's just about making sure this top part is well blended. Because of some of these colors get blended in together a little bit, and I do want it to be a for sure pink and a for sure purple. I'm going to go back in with each shade and just make sure that those shades are in there really nicely. So just going back into that love shade with the Bellalash brush, I'm just going to do the same motion that I was doing before. Just blend it in that pink part. Then taking some of that Ultraviolent shade and just putting that back in there very lightly. And this is where the shape that you're creating kind of begins to form, and you want to be a little bit more precise in the shaping area. You don't want to go too high up with this, like the darkest of the pigments, just because then the blend won't look as good. It really just depends on how you want it to look. I think I might have did a good job of creating the same shape. Sometimes like my eyes always look two different shapes. I hate it. So now that pigment is back in there, I'm gonna blend it out again. I do a lot of blending. I like to blend it out and make sure it's very well blended. If you think it looks good enough at this stage, then you can leave it. But I like to take a little bit of translucent powder on that same fluffy brush and use this right on that top area, so I'm not blending on top of the colors this time. I'm blending right above it with a really light hand. I'm just using this translucent powder to really create that top ombre shape or color. And this helps give me that really nice transition from high pigment to like nothing. But another cool thing with the anatomy scan is like they'll show you the heart and you can see, so like if you're not familiar with how the heart is on a unborn baby, the blood is mixed, so you do have oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, and you have the two different sides of your heart, but the heart is basically working as one thing and pumping the blood throughout everywhere, so it mixes when it gets pushed out of the heart. So you get to see kind of like how that works in like a small like color themed thing, and it's really, really cool. If you're not interested in this kind of stuff, this may be really boring for you, but I just find it so fascinating. But it's just really cool to be able to see, like you can see the heart, you know, beating fast, because babies in the womb's hearts beat like insanely fast. So it's just sitting there pumping, and you can see the blood just being pumped like in a circle basically. It's really, really cool. Next, I'm going to take a concealer. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Light Ivory. So how I like to do my cut creases is I like to put a little bit of the product on top of my lid and then look up. And if you have enough pigment on there, it'll create its own line. It's not doing it today, so I'm probably just going to have to guess at it. That's fine. Usually I don't have any issue, but it's not wanting to do it this time. Doing that and looking up and like rolling your eyes will help you find where you need to put that cut crease at. But if you're having trouble like I apparently am today, you can just look straight ahead and see where that crease is at and then go just slightly above it. And then just follow that line all the way around. And then just fill it in. And I'm going pretty far out with this shimmer, so I am going to go out pretty far. Again, this spot is going to be cleaned up with that purple. I just like getting the shape of it first and then putting the glitter on, and then I'll fix it at the end with the purple. I didn't want to say it while I was doing it, but for like the first time in forever, I finally did the cut crease on the camera without messing it up. I feel like every single time I do the cut crease on camera, it messes up, even though the one on the other side does perfectly off camera. But I did it. It's got a clean line. It's nice and pretty. Thank goodness. Now that the cut crease or the concealer is on there, before I do any glitter, I want to clean up these lines a little bit more and create some definition with those pink and purple shades. So picking up that 213 brush with that Love shade, I'm just going to go right above that concealer. And I'm not going to blend anything out. I'm just placing it. And this is just going to put that pigment right back in and make it really, really dark. And it also cleans up those lines a bit better. So if you didn't make like a perfect line, this helps kind of cover that up and put that high pigment back in. For some people, this may be an unnecessary shade, but I really like the way it looks after it's done. Then going back in with that Ultraviolent shade again and just doing the same thing. Then kind of wiping off some of the product on the 213 brush. I like to go back in above where I placed that shade and just kind of blend it out a little bit. And I'm doing it both with the pink and the purple. You're not wanting to blend out the concealer, so be very careful that you're not blending that out, because that'll mess up the nice sharp crisp line that you created. For the shimmer shade, I'm going to use the shade Icey with my finger and then just place this and kind of blend it out. We're just using our finger right now to place this shimmer really everywhere, and we'll take a smaller brush to kind of get it up against that line, because you don't want to do the whole lid with your finger, because then you won't be able to create a nice line up against the pink and purple. So just be careful where you're laying it and just lay it on your lid with your finger. Then we're going to take like a flat eyeshadow brush. We're going to use this to kind of press it up against the shades on the top. And I do multiple layers of this because this shimmer is kind of sheer when you do it with the brush. So just do multiple layers. You want to be very pigmented. If you're using like a loose glitter, or more of like a gel liner glitter pigment, those may work better than this and some other shimmer shades in a palette. So it just depends on what you're using. Now that the silver glitter is on there, there is like a purple shimmer that's not as pigmented as this silver. I'm going to use that and put it on the top because I want it to have like a more of a purple look to it. It's called Starlet. It has like little purple shimmers in it. I'm just going to put that like towards the inner corner. This is just going to add just a little bit of purple shimmer to it. Because really when I started this look, I wanted to do like an ombre of silver to purple. But I don't really have the purple shimmer in here. That it's more of like a dark blue, and I really didn't like it. I actually ended up wiping it off. So I think this is going to give me that little purple shimmer that I wanted in the first place. Now that the shimmer is in, I am going to take an e.l.f. blending brush with that Ultraviolent shade, and this is where I'm just going to add that purple back in this outer third and just kind of blend it out. And I'm only adding a little bit. I'm using a very light hand and then just kind of blending it out. You want to kind of blend it into the shimmer just a little bit. You don't want to do it too much because that shimmer will blend out towards the purple with it being an eyeshadow instead of like just a glitter, loose glitter or anything. So just be careful when you're blending it out because it will blend out with the purple. You're just trying to blend the purple into the shimmer. Is really what you're trying to do. So now that that is blended out, I like to take a wipe because I do my base last. I can clean it up. And I like to kind of finish off the look with a sharp point. And I want to clean up anything else that might have fallen out, like the glitter getting everywhere. That is it for the top lid. I'm going to go off camera and do my base really quick, and then I'll come back to finish the rest of the look. I'm back. I finished the left eye, and now I'm going to show you how I do it on the right side. I did already tightline and line my waterline before coming back. I used the NYX Epic Wear liner stick in the shade Pink Spirit. It's just easier for me to do that off camera. It's really awkward to try and do your tightline and waterline on camera. Using the Bellalash Brush, I'm going to go into the shade 2020. It's a lighter purple in this palette, and I'm just going to dust that underneath of my eye and just kind of blend it up. So I learned off camera the Starlet shade that I originally wanted to try and use for my lid, but ended up just using on top of the silver. It works really well as a highlighter, so I'm going to use it as a highlighter for this and use this for my inner corner. This definitely gives me the purple that I wanted originally, and I'm in love with this shade as a highlighter. It is so pretty. I'm using it on my brow bone, my inner corner, using this just everywhere. Using my finger for my nose as well. This is just so pretty. Like, I love this shade as a highlighter. Picking up a 510 brush, I'm gonna dust this on my cheekbone above my brow, and I've already done my chin and Cupid's bow off camera. Like, look at that. That is so pretty. This is such a pretty color. Last, I'm going to use the Benefit Mascara, they're Real. For doing my lips, I'm going to use the Urban Decay Ultra Matte Setting Spray. Now for my lips, for lip liner, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liner in the shade Rosewood. I'm going to use two different lipsticks. I'm going to use the Bailey Sarian and Melt Cosmetics in this shade Nutmeg. I feel like a nude for this would look better. To lighten it up a little bit more because it is a bit darker than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be like more of a lighter nude, but this, I really like the shade. I'm going to use the same Melt and Bailey Sarian Ultra Matte lipstick in the shade Gallerina. This is just like her pink shade. I feel like this works really well with kind of lightening up some shades. See what I mean? Kind of lightens it up in the middle. I'm just gonna kind of rub my lips together to blend it out. So that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I like hearing y'all's feedback, so please comment down below with anything you'd like to tell me or any future videos you'd like to see. Until next time, bye.